Hi, I'm Natalia Wixom. I am a realtor with Compass Real Estate in state of New York, licensed in state of New York and state of Connecticut. And I work in Westchester, New York. And thank you, 𝗓𝗃, for this. I met 𝗓𝗃 in Westchester, here in Chappaqua. And 𝗓𝗃 was the second person I met. It was, I think, end of 2015, beginning of 2016.
Yep.
And so we became friends, and she's my very close friend, my best friend, actually.
So, Natalia, I want you to tell people what makes you and your story so remarkable. I already know what your story is, but why don't you give a little background of where you come from and how you got into real estate here in New York?
So the story is very simple, basically. I grew up in Moscow, and during my childhood, I studied a lot, and I studied languages, and I also played music, forte piano, for many years. I did cross-country skiing, and basically I was raised by my father, who was an officer in Soviet army and then became the Russian army. And so all this, I would say I'm very detail oriented, and that's sometimes it's terrible for me, but you know, for me it's bad, but for other people it's good, especially for my clients.
I understand that.
I'm
and you
very
definitely
pedantic.
are.
It's even more pedantic, and sometimes I make jokes about myself. So that's where I'm coming from. I'm coming from Moscow, Russia, and a little bit more background. I studied and was trained in international foreign economic affairs, which is international trade. I loved it because like when I was growing up, I wanted to travel around the world, and my country was closed. And so I wanted to travel. I wanted to be free. So I went to this field, and I did work in export and import. And actually, I was always, all my life, I was in sales. But I was selling very boring things like metals and raw materials, fertilizers, plywood. You know, it was always with different countries.
Right.
And then when Soviet Union became Russia in the 90s, I was so interested in meeting foreign people, foreigners. So I met my first American. He's still my friend, my really good friend, and I met European people, and we started working together. So I had the first company we formed with a German guy who was my partner, and we were distributing German health supplements for you know, like for sports, for athletes.
Yeah.
And so I learned a lot, and that's basically was my background. And I will tell you how I got into real estate.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in letting everyone know exactly how you got into real estate and why you picked Compass.
So that's also a very interesting story. When in the 90s, in the end of 90s in Moscow, we had a lot of new construction. So the foreign companies were coming to Moscow, and every foreign company who were entering my country, they wanted to have a beautiful office, you know, European standard office. And so I ended up working in CBRE. And I didn't like office part. I really liked residential. So we actually opened like a department, a residential department in CBRE, and that's where I started working. And so I ended up selling new construction. This is a single family house we're filming in right now, but I worked in new construction in the beautiful residential buildings in the center of Moscow, and they were around, like, there's a height limitation in the center of Moscow, so like around 5 to maybe 6 stories, beautiful clubhouses with swimming pool, underground garages. Nobody knew what it is, and we agents, real estate agents, I loved working with new construction. So that's my back story. And when me and my family, when we moved to New York, we chose, actually it was funny because from the center of Moscow, literally like a kilometer from Kremlin, we moved to center of Chappaqua, New York, which was a completely cultural shock. Yes, I've been to New York City. Yes, I shopped on Fifth Avenue before. Yes, I traveled the world, and yes, I knew. I knew.
So Chappaqua was way out of your element.
It was.
It's like a fish out of water.
It was so
different.
It was different, you know. It
took you a long time to get adjusted, but you did it.
The houses built here are frame houses, and. Yes, it's, you know,
totally
I love where I am. And when Compass came in 2018, beginning of 2018, I was so curious about this company. By the way, I heard about Compass back in Russia, in Moscow, before I even was thinking about moving here. Somebody showed me on the phone an app. And you know, back then, nobody, like, something on the app was very special.
Right.
And somebody showed me, look how they sell real estate in New York City.
Oh, and it was on
They
the
have
app?
an app, yes.
Oh, that's really cool.
And I remember this. And when I heard that Compass is coming here to Chappaqua in 2018, that was my second year living here, and also I had to get my license. I had to get.
I remember you working so hard to get your license. I remember
it was the test was actually.
And you didn't know anybody here, and the way you worked yourself and hustled and met people and networked was so impressive.
Right. So 2018, I had like maybe 3 sales. One of my friends, she said, okay, I'll give you my house in Bedford to sell. And I didn't know anybody. So I asked Brian Milton. He's the biggest agent. He's, you know, I want to be like Brian at some point. And so I asked Brian, and Brian nicely said, okay. And I was doing this, and slowly 2019, I got more and more sales, and 2020 was a great year. It was difficult, but I created my systems, and I learned a lot, actually.
Right, and now you're just flowing like water. And I love it because you see the success. It's not, even though you're still working so hard, you're not brand new. So you've really created your own foundation. And I'm so proud of you. And I wanted you to share this story. And I'm so glad that you did. And I hope people take the time to actually listen to you, because you're not only like the hardest working human I know, but you are super intelligent and a great person and a good friend. And I only can see great things in the future for you. And I wish you the best of luck. And thank you for taking the time to come and be a Wednesday's Women of the Week. I'm so proud of you.
And I just wanted to add, thank you so much for inviting me. I love your videos. I'm always learning from your women, Wednesday women
of the week. It's good.
Of the week, yes. Whether the plastic surgeons or, you know, very interesting women. Some women I know very well personally through you. And about real estate, I just want to give just one advice for anybody who is interested in real estate. Read architectural books, go travel and look at the houses.
Right.
This country, and I mean the whole world is very interesting, but I learned so much in this country. I was very interested. My favorite architects are actually mid-century, and I learned so much in United States about Miss Van der Rohe, Frank Lloyd Wright, and we actually visited sites outside of Chicago, and I know how the first skyscraper started here in this country, and we even drove to Pennsylvania to see falling water. So there's so many interesting houses, even here in New Canaan, in Westchester, in Connecticut. We have gorgeous houses, and here we will try to do something really special and standing out, so that our buyers, our sellers will love it.
Right. But that's the one thing that makes you really good with your job, Natasha, is that you educate yourself. You take the time and you really put yourself out there with anything and everything that comes